What is going on, everybody? Happy Thanksgiving. Welcome to a special Dudes Who Bet Daily here, 11 a.m. We've got 3 NFL games. We got a college game and a couple nice cards from both Churchill and Del Mar today. So still plenty to bet here as you stuff your face.
Uh-oh.
Turkey.
He may have stuffed his face, and I think he's gone.
Too soon.
He is frozen in time, Somich.
Yeah, he stuffed his face too soon.
Yes, he did. He did. Well,
now we're back.
He's back.
Right.
I'm most excited about my internet not shitting out during this program. That's what I'm most excited about. What about you, Aaron? What are you most excited about this Thanksgiving?
I think it's a little dicey. It cut out right when we got done yesterday, so we'll see, Somich, if you're with us the whole time today. What I'm most excited about is definitely the football games. I think there's 3 really good ones. We kind of alluded to that yesterday. 3 really good games coming up today. So starting at about an hour and a half. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Papa Dude, what do you most say about this Thanksgiving?
Well, I'm going to get away from sports. I'm most excited about Sandy and I are taking it easy today. We're going to Aaron's for Thanksgiving now. We're bringing some desserts and homemade noodles, but man, it's going to be different today. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
I love it. Yeah, I'm headed over to my sister's today, so it's nice not to have to cook. We're just making a salad and a pre-made pie, which makes life a little bit easier on a Thanksgiving. Yeah. All right, let's jump right into it here. We got 3 NFL games. The early game kicking off here, Bills at the Lions. The Bills are laying 9.5. The total all the way up to 54.5 now. Monster total here for Buffalo offense has struggled in the red zone. Papa Dude, where'd you go here with the Bills and the Lions?
54.5, you say?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, it's pretty high.
It keeps going up.
Yeah. Well, both teams are capable of putting points on the board, that's for sure. I don't know. That's a lot. We talked about it yesterday on our show. That 9.5's a little high, I think. Buffalo's struggling. Aaron and I both don't know if Allen is healthy. I don't know if he is. Detroit's playing well. I think I would go Detroit plus 9.5 in this one. I just think the Lions are going to play well.
And Detroit won 3 straight games as a dog. However, it's against Green Bay, Chicago, and the Giants. Not exactly stellar opponents there, Aaron. 9.5 does look enticing, as the under does the under to me. What'd you do here?
I think Lions plus 9.5 and the under are the plays. And I hate saying the words, I think the Lions are a play, but it just kind of feels like, 4 weeks ago, you'd say, there's no way the Bills will cover 20 if they need to in this game. The Bills don't look the same since he got hurt, talking about Josh Allen. And so it makes you think this line could this game could be a little bit closer. They played the Browns in this building last week, and that game, while it wasn't close, the score got kind of close. I think the Lions are a better team than the Browns. I just feel like the Lions would be motivated. I think they'll play it close. They've won 3 in a row against teams that weren't that good. I do agree, but I don't know how good the Bills are currently. I think the Lions are going to at least keep this a ball game for a while. I wish it was 10.5. I think that one little point could end up killing us.
Me too.
Lions plus 9.5 to kick it off.
I bet the under here. That was it. Jason brings up something here in the chat. The teaser option. How many? So you can do 3-team 10-point teasers. They're basically even money. There are going to be so many people with the Bills, basically money line, Cowboys money line, and then teasing up New England to plus 12.5 today. Or you can tease the Vikings to plus 7.5. Both of them seem like pretty good options. I bet there's a ton of teaser money out there today, Papa Dude. Yeah,
it sounds like in that New England Minnesota game is very interesting. We'll get to it we might as well do it now. We've all kind of been waiting for Minnesota to fall. We're not that impressed with them. They fell heavy last week. I mean, with a big thud, which we were kind of waiting for. And then we look at New England and we think, God, they suck. They cannot score. What's the over-under in that one?
42.5 last I saw.
42.5. If New England wins, it's going to be under 42.5. There's no doubt in my mind. They're going to have to win 20-17, 17-14, which I think they're capable of doing. They are the worst looking 7-4 or 6-4 team there is. But you realize if they can go in there and win that today, man, that they got a leg up on the playoffs. So that's an interesting game. Can you believe they're only 2-point underdogs. That's so much respect for Belichick and New England.
Oh, I can, because you also have the Vikings at 8-2, which are one of the worst 8-2 teams we've seen in a long time as well. I mean, they've just won one-score game after one-score game. We mentioned it going into last week. They also lost probably their most important player on either side of the ball. Darashaw, their tackle, who is rated the best tackle in the NFL, is out with a concussion. He got concussed early in the game last week, and that was a huge issue for them on the offensive line. That's the one thing that New England does do well: rush the passer. They're second in the NFL in sacks. Kirk Cousins is going to be under a lot of pressure today. I actually kind of like the Delvin Cook under rushing prop. They haven't been giving up yards to running backs as is, and now on top of it, you add this injury on the offensive line. It makes this game awfully scary. But Aaron, you got your best bet here, so let's talk a little bit about your best bet as we run through these.
Yeah, listen, I like the Vikings minus 2.5 today. I think they're going to rebound from just a brutal effort last week against the Cowboys. I think they're going to rebound pretty well here. Look, offensive line injury during a game is a big time problem, but they've got time to kind of shore it up, come up with a game plan. I'm not saying it's all going to be fixed, but it is going to help. But they're going to game plan around the injury a little bit and have been able to do that this week, even though it is a short week. My main thing is, how good do the Vikings really have to be tonight at home to beat the Patriots? They have to play sound football, and they will beat them. The Patriots are literally, we're going to just kind of muck the game up and hope you make a mistake and let us win, because we're not going to make a mistake. It's at home. The Vikings should be sharp. Really big game for the Vikings. You do not want to lose 2 in a row at home and start to slide after a great start to the season. It's more of a play against the Patriots than it is a play with the Vikings, thinking, oh, these Vikings are a good team. You look at this Patriots team and it's like, it's magic that they're 6-4. Like, how have they done it?
Well, they started out 1-3, and then they ripped off a stretch where they're 5-1, but their wins came over the Lions, the Browns, the Jets twice, and the Colts game right before they fired Frank Reich. So just an awful schedule. And in that, they lost. They got blown out by the Bears in that stretch as well. So just a really, especially this 3-game win streak, which was Jets, Colts, Jets off a bye, really fraudulent 3-game win streak there.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And it just feels like, okay, I'm getting a home team that's 8-2. Yes, they absolutely were terrible last week. But listen, before that, we can make fun of them. Yeah, they're not a great 8-2 team, but they're not a bad team. It just feels to me like this is the spot where they're going to get right. And I'm only having to lay 2.5. I had to go Minnesota in this game. If I lose, I lose.
Yep.
Yeah, it's one of those sides where I'm going to stay away from. I bet the under. I don't think there's going to be a ton of points here. But I just don't think New England's going to be able to move the ball very much. And so if Minnesota can put up 17, they probably cover the 2.5 in this spot.
Yeah,
I think so.
They do. I don't think there's any doubt they do.
No, I don't think New England can score more than 14.
And that may be the other way to look. The team total on New England, I haven't looked it up right now. I can look it up here while we're talking, but that's another look that you might want to take. I'm going to play the Giants Cowboys game, which we'll talk about in a second here. But the team total for the Giants is another look there, because I just don't think they're going to be able to score very many points either when it comes to it. All right, let's jump over to that game, and I'll look up the team total in a second here. The Cowboys laying 10 at home. Total in that game is currently sitting at 45.5. I got to say, I appreciate the NFL putting this game at 4:30, because it means that after the Cowboys blow the doors off the Giants in the first half, we can all sit down and eat and don't have to watch the second half of this football game. My best bet is the Cowboys -6 first half, because this is just a matchup that is awful for the Giants. I mean, just a terrible matchup in this spot. Their defense, the Cowboys defense, should be able to hold the Giants to next to nothing. And Detroit just shredded this defense on the Giants side last week. Cowboys are riding high. I think they keep that momentum going. I think it's a good thing this is an in-division game for them, so that they don't go and come in flat off that huge win last week. I think this is going to get ugly. I like the Giants under 7.5 first half. I like the Cowboys -6 first half. I like the Cowboys -10 for the game, but I trust the first half a little bit more. Papa Dude, what do you think is going to happen down there in Arlington, Texas today?
Everything you say should happen. It should.
Should.
Just will Dallas show up with their A game. Sometimes they don't. But as I've said 50 million times on this show and throughout the year, they're different this year because they're more of a defensive team than they are the offense. And the defense normally shows up. Usually it's the offense that fluctuates a little bit. And I just don't think Barkley can run the ball on that Cowboys defense. And, he's a big threat for the Giants. And if they can stop that and make the young quarterback beat him, I don't think there's any way they can. Prescott's got to stay away from the stupid mistakes he makes from time to time. But I agree with you. They should cover that. It's just sometimes they don't. But today, I don't see any way they don't do it, except they are the Cowboys. And sometimes they throw a clunker in there. So
they are the Cowboys. I mean, it's amazing. If you look at the players that they have lines for like receiving yards in the Giants, it's Slayton, Darius Slayton. Okay, fine. And then the second one is Cager. Their third string tight end is the second most likely receiver that they're saying in this game. I mean, it's brutal when you look at their lineup right now. I mean, they're starting Slayton and they're starting Hodgins on the opposite side. Well, I have no clue who the hell he is. And then there's the Cager is so badly ranked. He's not even a PFF graded out player at tight end. It's just the weapons are just gone, and the Galladay thing is awful. And it's so it's really just Barkley and Slayton's not even a number one receiver.
Yeah.
Aaron,
it's an easy win.
Good.
So you like Dallas as well?
Cowboys, big Texas football state. Cowboys.
It should happen.
So that'll be an interesting, well, hopefully not a very interesting game. Hopefully this is just ugly from the start and Dallas just blows the doors off.
We were talking about I was talking about the Patriots being like, how are they 6-4? The Giants are definitely how have they gotten to 7-3? They've done a great job with that roster. It's not good.
It's
right.
They could collapse.
Saquon is great. The rest of that roster is not good.
They've been aided by an absolutely awful schedule as well.
Yes.
And it doesn't get much more difficult for the Giants either. That's the amazing thing. They may stumble into 11 wins, which is just kind of wild at this point. I mean, they've got Washington twice. They've got the Colts. And then they've got the Vikings and the Eagles on the road. So those are probably 2 losses. But you've got, 4 winnable games out of the last 6. So we'll see what happens there for the Giants after hopefully getting blown out here by the Cowboys. Tonight, we've got a rivalry game in college football. We got Mississippi State heading into Mississippi. The line currently sitting at -2 for the home teams. Totals at 61.5. Thought this was a really interesting game, Papa, do down in the SEC.
It is. It's always a great game. It's called the Egg Bowl. And it doesn't really matter where they play this. Doesn't seem to matter whether it's in Oxford or Starkville. This will be a fun one to watch. 2 teams that don't like each other. You got 2 crazy coaches in Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach. They're entertaining in themselves. I would not bet this game. I don't have any feeling on it. You got an Ole Miss team that's coming in after 2 losses, humiliating loss last week. Mississippi State. They play the same most of the time. It's even. It's an even game. Ole Miss is 2, I think. 2-point favorite simply because it's at home. It's a toss-up game, so if you want to bet it, just bet who you like. I think the line at 61.5 is about right. The over-under, I think that's kind of doable also. So I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this one.
Yeah, I threw Mississippi in a couple parlays just to have some action in the late game at -2. But this is one that I didn't want to go crazy about. I did think the bet splits were interesting, so I want to mention this, Aaron. Often you'd hear about there's X amount bets on one side, X amount on the other. This is an interesting spot because with the spread being between 1.5 and 2 in most places, you're seeing 92% of the money on Ole Miss -1.5, which would make you think, oh, wow, the public's hammering this. But if you flip over and you look at the money line, 72% of the money line is on Mississippi State. So it's one of those things where I want to it shows you that if people are betting one side, they're betting the money line, the other side are betting the spread. And you're going to get people who tweet out, oh, 92% of the bets on this side, fade the public. Well, the money line is exactly as skewed here, right?
Yeah.
It's always interesting to look at that. And, we talked about the Georgia-Tennessee thing back when we were at the Breeders' Cup and how lopsided that was and how Vegas dug their heels in on it and made a ton of money. Yeah, this one, I really, truly don't know what's going to happen tonight. One thing you guys haven't even brought up is this Lane Kiffin's last game in Mississippi. He's out there and he is denying it and denying it and denying it. Take it from a guy that's heard a coach deny. And then after the last game of the season, the very next day, his ass is out the door.
Yep.
When there's smoke, there's fire in these situations. I'm not saying he's leaving or not. That has to play a part in this. So this day and age with these players, and they're all over social media and they're seeing this stuff, I don't know. It's a little bit risky. So I'm with Papa Dude. I'm just going to watch and enjoy and stay away from this one.
Did you see how he dug his heels in on Twitter too?
Yes.
He essentially mocked the reporter and said the reporter was getting a new job without any sources to come back at it. I mean, it's wild here. So if anyone doesn't know, he's apparently taking the Auburn job, according to one person. And then he came out and said, I'm absolutely not taking the Auburn job. There's been no offer. And then made fun of the person, like doubled down on it. But we've seen coaches do this and just
we saw it last year.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley on right after the Oklahoma State game said, "I am not taking the LSU job," and then he was off to USC. So maybe Kiffin's taking the Nebraska job.
It's not a lie.
Yeah. I can't remember what Dolphins coach it was. It wasn't Saban who left, but it was the other guy who was at Arkansas. Went to the Dolphins and left mid-season after like 6 games. And he said, I'm definitely staying here for a couple of years. Just gone. I mean, so these coaches, you never know what they're going to do. So that's absolutely wild. All right, we're going to go to the race of the day before signing it off here for Thanksgiving. Headed out to Churchill Downs, race number 11, grade 3, I believe, Cardinal Stakes, going 1 1/8 over the turf. We got a pretty full field here with 9 horses heading postward. I thought this was an interesting race. You got 2 favorites, Delika the 5, Adventuring the 6. Are probably going to be tough here, but I think there's a couple long shots that are interesting. We'll start out with who you took on top here, Aaron.
You know, yesterday was super frustrating. We were all 3 against the favorite. We were all absolutely right to be against that favorite, and we were all wrong. We all had 3 different horses, and none of them won. So that is the worst thing in horse racing when that happens. All right, this race today, I'm with the favorite. I'm going to go with number 6, Adventuring on top. Brad Cox, Joel Rosario, deadly combination. The last time Rosario was on this horse, she was winning a grade 3 race at Kentucky Downs. This horse has some back class as well. Last time out, tried the EP Taylor up at Woodbine, grade 1 race. Got 5th, but only got beat a length and 3/4. And there were some pretty nice horses in that race. I think this is a really nice spot. I think the only kind of worry is it's Churchill, it's the turf. Will she take to it? Who will take to it? We know Delika did in the summer. So that's the other one. I really think these 2 favorites are going to be tough to beat, but I went number 6, Adventuring on top.
I went with the 5, Delika here. I think it's just controlling speed. I think Delika wires this field. I agree with you. These 2 are probably pretty tough in here, but I think Delika has a slight edge over Adventuring, who I just trust Delika a little bit more, especially going the 1 1/8. Papa Dude, did you go with either Delika, Adventuring, or did you go somewhere else here on top?
I didn't go at all. I've been swamped this morning. I didn't get time to look at it.
All right, so I do want to mention a couple prices here, Aaron. I like the 3 horse a little bit here. Sherry DeVoe, second out. We've talked about her quite a bit on the show, but Preservencia ran really well going 1/16 to Keeneland, and I thought got an absolutely awful trip. Was way back, hung wide on both turns. Now we draw the 3 post. We get second out. I think the 1 1/8 is going to be a good thing here for Preservencia. It's a 4-year-old, second off a layoff, second time in the DeVoe barn after being with a trainer who's only 5%. You think Preservencia has any chance of winning, or is this one of those underneath horses?
Good pick. Yes, I think Preservencia can upset the apple cart. I'm with you. I think you and I might be Cherie DeVoe's, 2 biggest fans. We
she
use her
cashes tickets for me. It makes it easy.
Well, listen, she hits at 16% at Churchill, 17% overall. All of her numbers, wherever she goes, she's right there. Just a little notch below 20. She doesn't get bet a lot, and that's the key. And she knows what she's doing. So, yes, I'm with you. I think this horse at 12-1 makes a ton of sense. You're right. A bad trip last time out. We're going to improve second time out for DeVoe. Going 1 1/8. You hit it right on the head. Last time this horse ran 1 1/8 was a winner at Woodbine. I like the 3 a lot. And I also like the 7, which was the horse. The 7 is Sunny One, the horse that actually beat the 3 last time out in that allowance race. But I'm with you. Cherie DeVoe, going to get improvement today. I like the 3 for an upset.
Yeah, I took a long look at the 7 as well, 8-1 on the morning line. I thought that one had a little bit of an upset shot. I was a little more concerned about the distance for the 7 since we haven't gone the 1 1/8 before, but it's bred to be able to handle it. And we've seen the horse handle 1 1/16 consistently. So we'll see what happens there. I was a little interested in the 9 Curly Ruth. Can I get you on board here with Saez back aboard, third off the layoff after a bad trip last time, or you no interest in Curly Ruth?
Bad pick. Hate Curly Reed.
I hit this horse a couple times, and so I kind of like this horse. And then, you know, he gets Sias back, clearly like the third fastest horse in the race, so should get a pretty good trip if we're able to get the turn well or position ourselves well. So 12-1, but I think Preservencia, the horse we both think at a price, could get the job done here.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, well, let's go over the best bets here for a little quicker Thanksgiving.
Oh, Papa Dude didn't get to talk about his.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You pick up with these random best bets now. Actually, it's not that random. Papa Dude, tell us about your best bet here. Headed to the hardwood.
It's okay if I don't get to talk about it. Anyway, I do have a random one I almost went with because you guys like these so well. So I am going to throw this out for anyone who's really crazy. College basketball, Denver. Yes, Denver University, not the Denver Broncos. Denver University plays Citadel today. The Citadel. 2.5-point favorites on the Denver, whatever they are. Zephyr. No, I don't know what they are. Anyway, Denver goes against Citadel. That's my crazy pick of the day. Now, this one. Okay, we got an undefeated Alabama team, okay, against a blue blood, Michigan State. Blue blood in basketball. This would be the reverse in football. Okay, let's go to basketball. All right, Alabama's 4-0. They are good. They were good last year. Listen to who they have beat. Longwood. Yeah, that's Powerhouse. Liberty. South Alabama. Jacksonville State. Okay. Arguably the best win on there is Jacksonville State. Okay, so, and
it's
none of you guys.
Schedule.
Do what?
It's not a terrible football schedule.
No, have you ever heard of any of those people?
No.
No.
Liberty. I've heard of Liberty.
Yeah, sure. Liberty because of football. Yeah. All right. Michigan State, 3-1. Opened up with Northern Arizona. Ho hum. All right. They lost by 1 to number 6, Gonzaga. They beat number 15, Kentucky. They beat unranked Villanova. Does anyone think that Villanova will not be ranked at the end of the year? Right. And why in the hell aren't they ranked now? Well, they've lost 2 games, but they've been to really good teams. So they played 4 games against 4 games, 1 easy one, 3 blue bloods, and they've gone 2-1. All right, they're tested. Alabama's not. I usually go with blue bloods over teams that aren't. I'm getting plus 150 on the money line. I got to go with Michigan State. They may lose. How can you turn this down? When you do logic, they are tested. They've been in these games. Alabama's not yet. You know, Michigan State's going to be physical. They're going to run at them. They're going to knock them around. This is an SEC team that's flashy, and sometimes they don't win these games. So I like the Spartans. I may get beaten this, but I'm going with them. I'm like Aaron with Minnesota today. I'm not going to worry about it if I lose. Plus 150 on Michigan State against a team that's good but not tested. Give me the Spartans.
You know the best part of this that you didn't mention?
What?
This is a 10:30 p.m. tip-off.
That's the worst part.
Everything else goes to shit today. Just get drunk and bet Michigan State on the money line to get even, right?
That's the worst part. I saw that. After I sent this to you, I thought, oh, God, it didn't play till 9:30. So I had to sit around all day long, and there's no way I can stay awake. There's no way. That's the worst part for me.
Just eat a little more turkey, you know, have a little more wine. You know,
I'm not a wine guy.
No, I'm not shocked about that.
You know, I'm not much of a drinker.
What could go wrong?
I'm not much of a drinker. I really am not. As I've gotten older, I've got heartburn problems, and it doesn't matter. It bothers me. So I one, and that's about it for me.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that got Aaron as much as it did. So this game's played in Portland, Oregon. It's for the Phil Knight Classic. It's a tournament game as well. Michigan State generally very good at these tournament games, especially early in the year. So hopefully we can get the Spartans home here. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us before this goes off the rails. We're going to look at the best bets for the day. Papa Dude taking that Michigan State plus 150 money line. Aaron taking the Vikings, laying the 2.5 at home. And I'm going to take the Cowboys first half -6. Went 1-2 yesterday. Up $38 for the year. Yes. Everyone have a great Thanksgiving. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow at noon Eastern. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.